You know what? I never wanted to be a dad. I couldn't really give a rip. And now I am the proudest father, I gotta tell you.
I thought you were gonna be a boy.
I can't dwell on her for too long or I start bawling my eyes out. When I go into the field, mate, I got a photo. I got a photo of me and my daughter, and I can just sit there and just start crying just looking at her.
Nearly 20 years ago, the world lost a larger-than-life personality, a man whose booming voice, fearless approach to wildlife, and deep love for his family captured hearts everywhere. Steve Irwin, the iconic crocodile hunter, died September 4th, 2006, at age 44 after a tragic stingray accident. Though Steve is gone, his legacy lives on, not just in the wild, but in the lives of his children, Bindi Irwin and Robert Irwin. As both siblings continue to honor his memory through conservation work, family commitments, and very public milestones, their journeys are a powerful reminder. Sometimes grief can plant the seeds of purpose. Keeping Dad's passion alive. From the moment Robert Irwin realized how deeply his father had changed the way people see wildlife, he understood exactly where his own path would lead. He has said openly, carrying on Steve Irwin's mission isn't something he chose so much as something that lives inside him. Quote, "It's in my DNA, and it's what I've been born to do." Growing up in the shadow of a global icon could have felt overwhelming, but Robert embraced it. He spent his childhood learning the rhythms of the zoo, studying the animals his parents devoted their lives to protecting, and discovering just how much his father's message still mattered. The world loved Steve's passion and authenticity, and Robert, in his own grounded way, has continued that legacy with the same mix of humility and electric enthusiasm. Bindi Irwin, too, has shaped her life around preserving what her father stood for. She was only 8 when he died, yet she grew into a public voice for conservation, education, and kindness, values her parents instilled from the beginning. Together, alongside their mother Terri, the Irwins have turned grief into purpose, ensuring Steve's spirit remains present in everything they do. Triumph and tribute, Robert's big night. In 2025, Robert experienced a moment that celebrated not only his personal growth, but also the emotional threads connecting him to his father. On November 25th, he and his dance partner Whitney Carson were crowned champions of Dancing with the Stars Season 34, a full-circle moment that echoed Bindi's win a decade earlier. Winning wasn't just about a trophy, it was about honoring the man who taught him courage, joy, and the importance of pouring your heart into everything you do. After the finale, Robert stood backstage reflecting on what the mirror ball meant to him, and his words captured the weight of the moment. Quote, "To follow in those footsteps and to do the same has meant everything to me." In that celebration, the confetti, the cheers, the stunned smile on his face, there was more than accomplishment. There was tribute, a son standing in the light, knowing that somewhere his dad would have been cheering louder than anyone.
Thanks to NOLA Mattress for sponsoring this video. NOLA is an award-winning mattress brand known for its cooling technology, exceptional pressure relief, and long-lasting durability. I'm typically a side sleeper and tend to overheat throughout the night, so I chose the best-selling NOLA Evolution mattress. It specifically supports spine alignment for side sleepers and has built-in cooling technology, so it seemed like the perfect fit for me. My mattress arrived rolled up in a box, which was super easy to set up. I just slid it out of the box, and within minutes, it was ready to go. I've now had this mattress for a little over 1 month, and it's completely transformed my sleep quality. I wake up feeling relaxed and rejuvenated, and I no longer wake up in the middle of the night from getting too hot. The comfort and cooling features of the Glaciotex cooling top has been a game changer, and I don't think I could ever go back to another mattress. Plus, buying online and getting it shipped straight to my door was way easier than going to the store. NOLA is unique because everything is made fresh to order in their Arizona factory. There's no fiberglass, no harmful chemicals, and zero off-gassing. Just clean, safe sleep. Plus, every mattress ships free and comes with a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty. They even offer financing if you need it. I love my NOLA mattress, and I think you would love one too. If you're looking for a new bed, head to nolamattress.com/factsverse and use the code FACTSVERSE to get an extra $50 off your NOLA mattress. This is an additional discount on top of whatever is already being offered on the site, so go check it out while you can. And after you check out, you can help out our channel by telling them that I sent you in their post-purchase survey. Thanks again to NOLA Mattress for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to go to nolamattress.com/factsverse and use the code FACTSVERSE for $50 off your NOLA mattress.
Grief, growth, and the courage to be vulnerable. Despite his upbeat personality, Robert has never pretended that losing his father was easy or that grief is something you simply get over. In fact, his willingness to speak honestly about it has become one of the most powerful parts of his public presence. During a conversation in 2025, he opened up about how grief has shaped him. about how every person's experience is different, personal, and far from linear. His words resonated with anyone who has loved and lost. Quote, "There's no grief journey that's easy, and there's no grief journey that's the same as the other." That vulnerability, shared in a moment of genuine emotion, showed just how deeply he still carries his father with him. But intertwined with the sadness was something else: gratitude. Robert spoke about choosing to celebrate Steve's life, living in a way that honors the man who shaped him, and understanding that part of healing is allowing yourself to feel everything, the heavy days and the hopeful ones. In embracing both the pain and the purpose, Robert has shown countless people that grief doesn't have to be hidden away. Instead, it can be a reminder of love, a compass pointing towards what truly matters, and a force that motivates a person to keep moving forward with compassion and clarity. Bindi's journey into purpose. While Robert's rise in the public eye has been steady and unmistakable, Bindi has spent nearly 2 decades quietly evolving into her own kind of leader. From the moment she first spoke publicly about her father after his death, people saw that same warmth, the same spark radiating through her. But what many forget is how young she was when the world changed for her, just a child, suddenly thrust into grief and responsibility. Over the years, Bindi has transformed that early heartbreak into a powerful sense of mission. She has become a voice for conservation, a champion for women in science, and a gentle but unwavering advocate for kindness. Her work at Australia Zoo, her outreach to young people, and her ability to speak openly about her family's story have all made her a compelling presence in her own right. Motherhood deepened that sense of purpose even further. The birth of her daughter, Grace, gave Bindi a new way to connect with her father, not through memories alone, but by passing on the values he lived by. She has spoken many times about how she sees Steve and Grace's curiosity and boldness, and how raising her allows Bindi to keep sharing what Steve taught her. The heart of Australia Zoo. For the Irwin family, Australia Zoo has always been more than an attraction. It's Steve's life's work, the place where he filmed some of his most iconic moments, built some of his most ambitious conservation programs, and poured endless energy into protecting wildlife. Today, the zoo remains an anchor point for Bindi, Robert, and Terri, giving them a space where Steve's presence still feels tangible. Walking the zoo grounds, they're surrounded by the echoes of his voice, his passion, and his unshakable belief that every creature deserves a fighting chance. The programs he began, rescue operations, rehabilitation efforts, and global conservation initiatives, continue to grow because his family refuses to let that momentum fade. Terri has often been the quiet engine behind much of his work, maintaining the operations and long-term goals of the zoo while nurturing her children through unimaginable loss. Under her guidance, and with Bindi and Robert taking increasingly visible roles, the zoo remains a living tribute to the man who dreamed it into being. 2 decades later, what Steve Irwin still means today. 20 years after Steve Irwin's death, the world is still talking about him, not because he was famous, but because he was unforgettable. His joy, his bravery, his boundless enthusiasm for animals, big and small, reshaped how millions of people viewed wildlife. He made nature feel accessible, thrilling, and deeply meaningful. Perhaps the most enduring part of his legacy isn't in the TV archives or the conservation programs he established. It's in the family he left behind, a family that continues to show the world what love in action looks like. Bindi and Robert's careers, their advocacy, their personal growth, and their willingness to share their journey so openly have ensured that Steve's message never faded. To some people, Steve Irwin was a hero, to others, a guide. To many, he represented the bravery to live fully and love fiercely. And to his children, he's both a memory and a blueprint, a reminder of the life he lived and the values he passed down. As the 20-year mark arrives, the Irwin family stands exactly where Steve would have wanted them, together, committed to the earth he loved, and using their voices to protect the creatures he dedicated his life to. And for anyone who watches them, it's impossible not to feel it. Steve's spirit isn't gone, it's everywhere, in their words, their purpose, and the wildlife they defend every single day. The quiet strength of Terri Irwin. Through every chapter of loss, rebuilding, and renewal, Terri Irwin has been the steady force holding the family together. Long before the world knew her as Steve Irwin's wife, she was already passionate about wildlife and conservation. But her partnership with Steve amplified that purpose into something global. After his death, the weight of continuing that mission landed squarely on her shoulders, yet she carried it with unwavering resolve. Terri has often chosen to stay out of the spotlight, allowing her children to step forward as the next generation of Irwin storytellers. Still, her influence is unmistakable. She continues to guide the strategic and conservation-focused initiatives of Australia Zoo, oversee ecological projects around the world, and mentor Bindi and Robert as they take on more responsibility. Her grace has always been understated but vital, the kind that shows up in the day-to-day work no one sees, the long-term planning, the careful stewardship of Steve's messages, and the nurturing of 2 children who have grown into compassionate, articulate adults. Terri's strength isn't loud, but it has shaped every part of the Irwin legacy that exists today. Now it's time to hear from you. Which moment from the Irwin family's journey has stayed with you the most over the years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.